Hey guys, Docharin here, back with another Ravenswatch video. Today I'm going to showcase a very powerful build on Beowulf. Now, some people think that Beowulf is a vanilla character, some say he's weak, some say he's strong. I think with the right talents, Beowulf is a very strong character, and you can make him insanely tanky. You can consider him as though he's the tank of Ravenswatch, although there's no specific role like that. Now here with the starting talents, we have Rampart or Draconic Binds. These are my two favorite talents on Beowulf, and Rampart is a very tanky type based talent. Basically, it is a quest where every time you block, you gain 1 armor. It stacks up 20 times, so essentially you can easily get 20 armor on Beowulf. And with talents like Rampart, especially because I am playing on Nightmare mode, you want to be picking up talents that are very tanky, because these enemies at Nightmare, they hit very hard, so you have to either dodge or you have to find a way to mitigate that damage, either a way to heal the damage back or to just outright block it. So Beowulf building armor with his shield defense allows him to just tank any damage straight out. Now, I like the idea of going for a tank build with Beowulf, utilizing a lot of armor stacks. So the main combo that we're going to be going for in this video is the green armor and dragon hide combo, which makes us both very tanky and also grants us damage based on how much armor we have. Now, one reason for this is because I think just thematically it stems very well. It combos very nicely because he has a shield, so thematically it makes sense. The reason is because you start off with 20 armor, and armor is very good when you have a little bit of it, but in this particular build we're going to be stacking quite a lot, and once you stack quite a lot of it, you'll want to turn that into damage, which is where the dragon hide comes in. So with the state effects of green armor gives you 1 armor for every common. Sorry, I think it's 1. Is it 2? I think it gives you 2 armor for each common object that you have. Whereas Dragonhide gives you, I think it gives you 5%, so 1 armor per 5% of missing health or something like that. It basically gives you more armor based on how much health you're missing. So when you use the state effects, the set effects for both items, it combos really nicely and you can get an immense amount of armor late game. Now in this run I'm doing a commentary. This is not normally what I normally do. I'm going for a commentary this time because I find it very difficult to talk whilst I'm playing Ravenswatch. Simply because it is a very mechanic heavy game where you have to dodge things and things like that. And so I find that if I do a commentary, I can actually talk properly instead of having to concentrate so hard. So one thing I will be talking about is why I do certain things on the map. So essentially, because this is a gated game where it is based on time limit, you do have 18 minutes to be as strong as possible before you verse the final boss. So essentially every decision that I make is going to be based on saving time and also gaining as much gold as possible or gaining as many items as possible to make us as strong as possible.
Just keep your claws ready.
Now, one of the things I do look out for when I'm starting out in Ravenswatch are the green eyes on the map. The green eye is the Raven Tower, and Raven Tower will give you experience as well as give you insight onto what's on the map as well. So for green Raven Towers, this will show 4 points of interest on the map. For yellows, it will show 6. But the reason why getting Raven Towers early in the game is so important is because gaining experience is one of the best ways to gain damage and survivability. Every time you level up, you gain a 1.1, so a 10% multiplier on your existing stats. So it's very important to level up so you get more damage and health, so that you can fight the stronger content, as well as every time you level up you gain a talent as well, and these talents are going to be a very powerful source of damage and change your build completely. So in this particular build, I have decided with my items I'm going to go for an armor based build, but also the talents that combo very well on Beowulf. Now Beowulf has a ton of different talents you can go for. In this particular case, I started out with Rampart because I believe Rampart is one of his strongest talents, especially on Nightmare mode where survivability is such a big factor. The other starting talent you can start out with on Beowulf is actually his Draconic Binds. Now Draconic Binds gives you increased damage on your empowered skills and also decreases the cooldown on your trait as well. So you have more uptime on dealing the empowered damage or healing yourself as well. That being said, because we picked up Rampart, we're going for an armor build, so I opted for armor, which gives you survivability. Once you stack Dragon Hide will turn 40% of your armor into damage as well. So if you're stacking about 300 armor, you can get an extra 120% increased damage on your skills and abilities. Now I have made videos on how to increase your damage and armor, so please check them out. I'll put them in the description down below. But with that being said, we'll continue on this particular run. So with Ravenswatch, one of the things you need to know is there are different events that you can do. These events will increase your damage, and the rewards for them are very different based on what you go for. So in this case here, I've actually started the side quest. The side quest will give you a legendary item, and these legendary items are very powerful in terms of increasing your damage and your survivability. Now with this particular quest, this is the straw side quest, and the straw side quest gives you a little quest that you have to do whereby you collect straw, and once you return the straw to the pig, he builds a straw house, and then you have to defend his house. So here on the top right, you can see that I have to stack up 15. I've actually got 14 so far. And also with the talent here, we're going to pick up Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire is a very strong talent, which is based on an attack-based build. So this particular build, I'll be going for an attack-focused build, whereby Beowulf, because he's more of a slow-moving character, his base damage is a little bit stronger to compensate. And at the end of that combo, he'll release a Cone of Fire. That Cone of Fire will deal increased damage based on his attack damage. So this particular build, we're actually going to be trying to build a lot of attack damage and also a lot of armor and survivability that way. So just the other two talents that we picked up, we have Rampart and we have Breath of Fire. And then the other one, sorry, we picked up was the Rune of War. And Rune of War gives you an AoE damage once you do your defense. Now the defense on Beowulf is probably one of the strongest things on this character, and proper use of the defense basically makes or breaks Beowulf. I mean, Beowulf does have other skills, but the other skills are pretty vanilla compared to the shield defense that he has. The shield defense that he has allows him to negate all damage, and in its empowered state also allows you to heal back damage that you take based on how much was negated. So the shield is an extremely important tool in a Beowulf's kit, and basically his whole entire combo is built around the shield. So Rampart is one of these things which is very important. Rampart allows him to increase the healing that he gains for when he gets hit. Now with the green chest, they've done, the green wells that I've just unlocked here. These green wells have been reworked completely from early access. So now these green wells, they cost 50, 100, and 150 gold each time you buy from it. Each time you buy, it gives you a chance to unlock a consumable on the first roll, a common object on the second, and a rare object on the third. And I find this is a very good change because it actually kind of allows you to target what item you're going for. And the fact that they've also changed the rerolls as well, there's a little bit of reroll protection in that each time you reroll, you won't get the same rolls from the previous selection of talents or objects that you saw. So that's a really nice change as well. The fact that wells allow you to sort of target what perks and talents you want is a really nice change, and will basically help out when you're doing runs in different builds. Now, I find this straw talent is one of the hardest quests in the first act, simply because the enemies attack from all sides, and so sometimes, based on what enemies you fight, it can be very, very difficult to defend the house. So you can see here I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I need to get around the entire house and kind of make sure that it's not defended, it's not damaged too much, sorry. So basically we're damaging them a little bit, kind of circling around and making sure the enemies focus on us so that we can defend the house and be the target as opposed to the house being targeted. If you do fail this quest, if the house gets defeated, essentially you just don't get the legendary item, which makes it a big waste of time. And again, the strongest source of your damage and survivability are getting items in the game. So here we're going to pick up, I think we pick up Excalibur here. Yeah, so we pick up Excalibur. Now Excalibur gives you 10 damage per legendary talent that we have. We actually don't have any legendary talents right now, so I'm actually gambling on Excalibur being a good source of damage later in the game, but currently right now, because we have no legendary talents, it's actually not going to give us any damage at all. So yeah, in terms of Beowulf, using his shield is probably one of the most important things on this character, and Beowulf can be a very, very powerful character, allowing you to face tank almost anything, but you do need to build the right talents in order for you to do so. Currently right now I don't have that much armor. I've only got 1 green armor with 2 leprechaun coins, so this should only be giving us like 6 armor. Pair that with our rampart, which gives us 20, so now we have 26 armor. 26 armor early on isn't that much damage reduction, and bear in mind that damage reduction in this game with armor pairs logarithmically, so if it's logarithmic, the more you get, the worse it is. So it is kind of really strong once you get up to 100, 200, but once you go past that, it doesn't give you much damage reduction. So bear in mind that the damage reduction is only good up to a certain point. Once you go past that, it's better to build health as a form of effective health instead of armor. But because this is an armor based build, we want to build as much armor as possible because that will be giving us more damage. And you'll see that later on. You won't see that now because in terms of building items in this game, green armor and dragonhide is a very armor focused build, but it does make it very hard to get those items to roll into it. So you'll be seeing in this game that I will be re-rolling as many times as possible to try and roll into those items, because although the survivability of armor is very good, the damage that you get from these items is not great. Now one note to note is that when you're fighting on the map, always kill the healers first. The healers are the ones in the cloak that throw like the little thing and heal your heal the enemies around you. So always kill the healers first, because they do heal almost every enemy up to full, and they're very annoying to deal with. Early on in the early access, the healers used to heal themselves, and that made it almost impossible to kill. So luckily that was changed. This was a while ago, but just note that they used to be much harder to kill because they used to heal themselves as well. Now they can't do that anymore. And talking about the early access, I have quite a little bit of experience playing Ravenswatch. I've been playing Ravenswatch for about 300 hours, and I've seen it ever since it pretty much was put onto Steam as an early access game. So I've been playing this quite a lot, and so I kind of know my way around the map and everything like that. So as I'm doing this commentary, I will be throwing out little tips and things like that that I note from when I've played this game. So you can see there that the shield I'm using allows me to heal up to full health, and even when I'm fighting these stronger enemies, I do use the shield and time it very well to try and mitigate as much damage as possible. And even, in fact, heal up. Because, again, because I've completed the Rampart quest, my healing is so much stronger.
Reverie shall be free!
Okay, I did get quite low on health there, but we are close to getting level 5. Once we hit level 5, we will be healing up to full health anyway, so it's not too big of a deal. We just need to be sure that we can survive until we kill 1 or 2 enemies. And I am going around the map trying to pick up as much gold as I can. Now some events on the map I usually ignore, like the tumors. The tumors I ignore because the tumors, they decrease the amount of health the boss will have, but it doesn't necessarily make me stronger as a character. So that's why I tend to ignore certain events, because it won't give me power to begin with.
I have but one more blow in me!
So you can see I turned to level 5 there, but a big part of the survivability that I had was making sure that... Now I did see... Sorry, just to speak on the other thing, I did see the key on the map there. I just didn't choose to pick it up because I didn't feel like I had enough time to complete the boss key, but that's okay. And here we're going to pick up another item. We did get Dragon Hide, which is exactly the item we wanted. And now we're going to go back to base to buy, to do the green book, which will give us a little bit of power as well. I also picked up the major shaping, and major shaping allows us to copy one of our rare items. And because Dragon Hide was our only item, we did manage to get another copy of it. So bear in mind when you're doing runs, you want to see what items are in the shop to begin with, because if you're going for a specific build, like for example, there are items which increase the damage of your power or increase the damage of your special. So if you're doing a special based build, you want to try and time it so that those items can be duplicated, like I've done there.
We have made good on our promise.
And here I'm probably going to pick up armor. So now we have 52 armor, increasing our survivability. Here I'm doing the other book. So we just came from the green book. Now the yellow book is slightly more difficult, but also will give us slightly stronger consumables. Okay, and again there I pick up the armor, so now we have 78 armor. If you get up to 100 armor, that gives you 50% damage reduction, so trying to get to 100 is going to be nice, but right now we don't have enough. So because we don't have enough time to finish any more events, we're just going to look around the map to see if we can pick up any extra gold or anything like that. In this case here, there is a wishing well. Sorry, not a wishing well, a healing fountain, but because of the enemies that are being leashed, we can't pick up the healing fountain.
We've still battles to fight.
Now here I'm using my shield as a form of healing on the boss. Because our character isn't strong enough in the early game, our character isn't like Snow Queen or Melusine where you can stack a lot of armor damage early game. Basically we are using our health and our survivability as our damage resource. It will take us a bit longer to try and take down the enemy, but essentially this is more of a game of attrition rather than us dealing as much damage as possible. So you can see our damage phase here isn't going to be as strong as other characters because we are building in a more tanky type of build, but we did kind of manage to take around 25 to 30% of the boss's health. So essentially this boss phase will end in about 3 or 4 phases. And again, just based on the mechanics, you can see that the boss has about 3 different types of mechanics that they'll kind of cycle between. Learning those mechanics are going to be very important in order to increase your survivability and also just increase based on how quickly you want this fight to end. Now again, because I have a lot of experience playing this boss and playing Ravenswatch, I'm kind of very familiar with the patterns, so basically we just play... Okay, there I took a little bit of damage because I was in range, but you'll note that Beowulf is able to heal up any damage that he takes using Rampart because it's such a good survivability tool. Now, in terms of using Beowulf, you want to save your empowered state for certain things. So if you want more damage, you can save it to build more damage. If you want to heal, you can use it to heal. Now here, I kind of saved the worm to deal a little bit more damage, and I also use my ultimate as well, so I'm trying to end this phase as quick as possible. And just to speed this up a little bit, I will increase the time a little bit just so that we can see this end a little bit quicker. But essentially, we cycle between killing the tentacles as quick as possible. If we need to heal, we use our empowered worm to heal. Alright, so that's concluded that particular boss fight. Now we start with Act 2, and Act 2, so again, every time we open the map and run the map, we check what items are in the shop. So the shop basically has an array of different types of items. The first 2 will always be like a consumable type of item. There's different combination of items that can appear, but getting different items is going to be key in terms of how you build your character and also what type of items you want to go for to build your damage. Looking on the map as well, if there's a Raven Tower, I always go for Raven Tower first, and the reason why is because we want to get as much experience as possible, but also we want to see what else is on the map. Now the Raven Tower can only unlock on the minimap what hasn't been unlocked already. So if you can see it already, it won't show. And when you start the game, you will reveal 4 icons on the map. So having the Raven Tail reveal an extra few points of interest will kind of determine how you want to path to kind of build your character. So you want to prioritize certain things. And because my character is going for green armor, which is a common item, we have a highest chance to getting that at the green treasure chest, which is down below on the minimap. You also want to pick up as much gold as you can, so if you can kind of avoid mobs getting between events, you want to do that as much as you can. So you'll note that I kind of just avoid every single enemy and I go straight towards the event, because the event is going to give us the biggest source of damage.
Warrior's rest.
So here I decide that because I only have one reroll, one star fragment, and the treasure chest didn't contain any objects that I wanted, I'm gonna leave it and come back to it later. If you leave it and come back to it later, it will still be there with the same options that you had before. But it's just because you didn't pick it up, it's just basically staying there. So basically, I'm trying to focus on getting more rerolls so I can reroll those items. And this green well here is a good source of targeting certain types of items. So you do need around 300 gold in order to buy everything in this well. So essentially we will be buying the consumable first. Now the consumable, because of the recent update, there is a chance that you can get a star fragment, which is what I picked up immediately. So having more rerolls is a really good chance to try and reroll the talents and items that you're offered if you're not happy with the selection. So I'll only fight enemies near gold camps and gold piles, because again, gold is a valuable resource in the game. It allows you to buy items. It also allows you to basically allows you to buy consumables and items, and those items can be rerolls, it can be damage or more survivability for your character. So you can see in that camp, I basically just face tanked everything using my empowered worm state. That gave us a lot of healing back because we have increased healing from our rampart.
sacred thunder. That's one big bird.
Okay, so I was rerolling there for different attack-based talents because we're going for an attack-based build. And when you're going around the map, you either want to unlock teleporters, so the purple spots are teleporters that you can teleport to on the map. Once I've unlocked certain teleporters, essentially I can come back to that spot later on if I don't feel like I'm powerful enough to take on those challenges at the moment. So because the green ones are going to be easier with supposedly easier enemies, generally, I will be coming back to certain areas later on. So the purple feather there does give us more health, more lives. But I don't normally pick them up as often because usually I don't feel like I need it. Now, the purple feathers, you do have to spend a little bit of gold to buy them. And because it's not giving us any outright damage or survivability to our build, usually, if you can avoid picking it up, it's probably better too. If you feel confident in your skills or your build, it's probably better that you buy something else that will boost your survivability or damage. So in this particular run, because I had a lot of armor, I didn't feel like I needed to pick it up too much, so I didn't go for it straight away, even though I had the gold to do so.
Is worse than its bite. Not yours, the gnomes.
And we pick up Leprechaun there. Leprechaun is, even though it's a common object, it's probably one of the most broken items in the game. The set effect from Leprechaun coin is very powerful. So if, spoiler warning, Leprechaun coins set effect, if you get 5 of them, will give you a free reroll. And for each Leprechaun coin you have, it will give you, for every time you reroll as well, it will give you 15 gold. So if you have 5 Leprechaun coins, it's essentially giving you
I reap the harvest of the dead.
75 gold and a free reroll. So it's giving you free gold and basically allows you to farm gold in a certain way. So there is a broken combo with Aladdin and getting rerolls. I don't know if they've changed it now where he can't abuse it anymore, but essentially it was a broken combo with one of his ultimates, which gives him extra, which allows him to use money in order to get more consumables. But I'm not sure if they've changed it now.
Reglet. Dog-faced and dead. You picked the wrong fight.
Now normally with any character in the game, you want to avoid taking damage and learn to dodge things, so you want to learn the mechanics of the game, but because Beowulf has such a powerful defensive skill, you can just face tank it straight away, and in fact sometimes you even want to step into certain hits so that you can gain all your health back.
The battle is not over yet.
Okay, so around this time, because we have 900 gold stacked up, this is where we can start spending our gold and really start trying to get our items. So here we don't have what we want, which is green armor or dragon hide. So we're basically going to try and re-roll for it. Here I actually pick up leprechaun coin, because leprechaun coin will give us money instead. And so in that one as well, because we didn't get exactly what we wanted, essentially now we're just going to try and look for other ways to get more rerolls. And so I'm going to start spending some of the gold that we have.
I grow sharper than my blade.
Tremendous.
Now here I actually decide to pick up fast walker boots, because even though it reduces our armor, it will help us clear the map faster, and you'll notice the significant boost in move speed that the fast walker boots does give us. So 25 armor in terms of how much armor we have. Currently we have 61, but we would have had extra 25 on top of that. So early on, the damage reduction is quite significant in terms of how much damage it's going to help us mitigate, but I felt like the advantage of moving faster on the map was better than being able to block a little bit more damage. Okay, and we managed to clear that, so this gives us 2 stars of fate, so we're basically just going to go back and try and re-roll for different items.
We've still battles to fight.
Now here we're offered Dragon Hide and Leprechaun Coin. In this case I'm actually picking up Leprechaun Coin because again, Leprechaun Coin, most broken item in the game, free reroll. So if we're offered Dragon Hide in future, we do have the chance to get more gold, and because we had a lot of gold stacked up, I kind of just decided, okay, we'll just spend that 100 gold anyway. So now we have up to 3 Raven Feathers, so this will help us so that if we die, we can be a little bit more risky with some of our plays because we do have that extra life. Obviously we want to avoid trying to spend it anyway, but yeah, that extra life will help us out a lot. Also note that when you are learning Beowulf and other types of characters, remember that certain characters also have the iframe, the intangibility frame as well. Beowulf has it on 2 of his skills, which is first his shield, which just allows him to block any damage that he takes, even from other directions as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be in front of his cone. In this case I picked up the 32 armor, which takes us to 117. Armor. But yeah, the intelligibility frame happens on his shield. Even if he gets attacked from the back as well, he'll still be intangible essentially. It's only for the purposes of blocking hits or healing that he takes the damage from the front of his cone. The other iframe that he has is his Blade Storm, which is special. So at the start of his iframe, at the start of his special, he does a little intangibility frame, which can be useful in blocking things if you do time it right. It is quite a short window, but you can block certain skills and certain mechanics if you time your intangibility frame well. The ultimate that I picked in this particular run was the chain one, and the reason why I took the chain is because it does give you good stagger on certain types of enemies. So you can see that after I use the particular skill, I've basically staggered that enemy straight away. And it's at this point here that I realize that I can't really do much else on the map, so I basically just run away and try to find as much gold as possible. With only 5 seconds left, there's not much to do, so we can't really teleport anywhere either, so we're basically just going to wait out the map. Although we did skip the side quest and one particular zone which was left unexplored. Now for the purpose of saving a little bit of time, I will fast forward this run a little bit, but essentially this boss fight is all about just learning the mechanics. There's a few different phases and a few different skills that this particular boss will use. So just learning how to overcome those particular mechanics is going to be crucial in this particular fight. She does release a lot of bombs on the floor, as well as use lots of different types of lasers as well, so getting accustomed to those mechanics is going to be key in this particular fight. But I'll fast forward just a second. Okay, so now with Act 3,
Greetings, esteemed
we look in
warrior.
the shop and we see that we have the green armor in our shop. So this is actually really lucky for us that we can get green armor without having to hunt for it.
admire your bold
And minor
thinking.
shaping, copying the green armor is just the most luckiest thing that is possible. So this particular run was insanely lucky because we're able to get that armor up. And getting us 139 armor gives us 58% damage reduction. So we do have quite a lot of damage reduction in our build.
There should be a law against wasting
Now
life.
essentially we want to try and hunt for dragon hide and also complete our green armor, which will give us even more damage reduction. So going around the map, you have these gargoyles in Act 3. If you're able to pop them, they do turn into shards, but you do need quite a lot of stagger in order for you to do so. So having certain skills which do a lot of stagger is one way to pop them. So for example, Pied Piper, his defense can pop these gargoyles very easily if you use 2 of them. And so Pied Piper with 2 defense stacks is one easy way to get it. Here we've also picked up Sparkling Shield as well. Sparkling Shield is an insanely strong skill on Beowulf, especially for Act 3. It basically allows us to reflect any damage that we take in front of our shield back to the enemies. And because enemies in Nightmare and also in this particular map, Act 3, hit so hard, essentially it's like a thorn mail. It will basically just reflect their own damage back at them and they'll kill themselves on your own shield. And going back to the shop, we can also pick up this star fragment, giving us 1 more star fragment. So we have the free star fragment from our leprechaun coin reroll, as well as the 1 star fragment from our recently purchased one. So here there's some extra gargoyles, but I wasn't able to pop them. And we basically want to run around to activate our shield when we can. And that basically takes us to full health. So these enemies are hitting very, very hard. We have more than 150 armor, and we have like 300 health. And so you can see like how much damage these enemies are actually doing because they're able to deal so much damage to us. And the fact that we're able to heal back all of it is insane on Beowulf. So Beowulf has crazy survivability just purely because of the shield rampart combo, and you pair that with Sparkling Shield, it actually turns your offense into a really strong defense. Or the other way around. A really strong defense into a really strong offense.
My bite is a tempest.
Here we're offered green armor and dragon hide. So here I actually decide to pick up the dragon hide, and the reason why is because completing the dragon hide is going to get us closer to getting more damage. Right now we're still lacking in the damage department. So on the 4th dragon hide completion, it will basically turn 40% of our armor into damage, so we're going to have increased damage. So if we can get up to 200 damage armor, this will become 80% more damage that we can deal.
There are no more to slay.
Here we go, so We can reroll, and we do see Dragonhide. Again, this was insanely lucky because the odds of getting that to happen is very, very low. So getting that extra Dragonhide instantly makes our damage much stronger.
I will die with sword in hand.
Now here I actually decide to pick up an extra leprechaun coin, even though we had the 5 full set already. I think we just picked it up because the extra reroll is so advantageous here, and having the extra reroll to be able to pull for the 5th green armor would be really good, so that's why I decided to pick it up there. Getting the extra common object does give us more armor as well. Every green armor gives us 2 armor for every common object we have. So currently we have 10 common objects, and so each one gives us 20 armor, and we have 4 of them, so each one gives us 80 armor. So just from that alone, we're getting a ton of armor, plus the 20 armor from our base rampart. So we get the 100 armor there. Sorry, not 20, it's 200. We're getting like 200 armor from our item combination. Okay, and with that we're ready to move on to the next floor. Generally on Act 3 I don't go for the book events until I feel like I'm strong enough to do so. So generally maybe level 9 or 10 is probably when I go for the book side quest, because it is gated by time, like there is a time limit on it, and so I want to be able to clear it as quick as possible. So instead I decide to move to the next floor. And also I do miss my ulti there as well.
Foes have all been vanquished.
Okay, so we have another reroll, and we got Blazing Runes. Blazing Runes was one of the talents that we were hoping to get the entire run. Blazing Rune, what that does is it gives us crit chance to ignited enemies. So by base, it gives us 40% crit chance. You can build it up to 70%, I think. So 70% extra crit chance plus our base 5 gives us 75% extra crit chance with our attack to normal enemies.
We've still battles to fight.
So here I decide to get Blazing Runes up to the top. With the Sand of Alignment, it basically allows us to upgrade our lowest talent to Legendary. So now you can see we have 3 Legendary talents.
I hope.
And that's giving us extra 30 damage with Excalibur, because each legendary talent gives us 10.
Well spotted.
So that's another reason to try to upgrade your talents to Legendary. 1, because of the Excalibur, and 2, based on what talents you get, those talents are just innately strong by themselves.
stuck with a drinkling as a cursed companion.
And here we get green armor. We're going to take green armor straight away. We could get a reroll for 75 gold, but they've changed rerolls so that you can't get the same selection. So we're just going to pick up the green armor straight away. In one way, it's like a kind of a nerf to rerolling, but in other ways, it's a huge advantage. So the fact that we're able to be protected from rerolling into the wrong thing is a really strong thing for us. But if you look at it from a weird perspective, they kind of nerfed it because we're not able to reroll the same thing using leprechaun coin.
It is a rough way to travel, but it beats rowing.
So at this point, level 9, because we feel like we are strong enough, I am going to be using doing the green book event. And you can see with Sparkling Shield's the talent that did all the work for us. All those gargoyles were basically just attacking themselves into our shield, getting that damage reflected back to them. So that's how we were able to clear that camp really quickly. And here, because we have a very low crit chance already, I didn't feel like it was worth building into crit chance that much, so instead I opted to pick more rerolls. Getting more rerolls does give us more gold, which means we're able to upgrade our talents as well.
We've still battles to fight. These monsters bear a different scent. We have made good on our promise.
Again, I said before that we basically try to run around to different events as soon as we can. If there's any opportunity to get gold, I will kind of take that to get gold. So if you can sneak gold easily, then it's really good to try and just get gold like that. Otherwise, you basically just want to be running to events as fast as possible. Okay, now with level 10, we have the choice of our final ultimate, and we have the choice of 2 based on what we picked. So we picked up the Fiery Dash, and the Fiery Dash is so much better because it's more usable because we will be dashing all over the place, whereas the ultimate one, which just upgrades the ultimate itself, it's only like every time you use the ultimate you get like these fireballs, but I think the dash upgrade is much better in this scenario. So every time we dash, it's going to fire a fireball like that, and so because we're going to be dashing so much more, it's probably better that we got that one instead. Okay, so sadly we failed that event, but basically you just have to move on with your run. We are pretty strong at the moment as it is because we do have such a strong defensive combination.
We've still battles to fight. And
you can see on the minimap as well, there's 3 red gold
Let us
camps.
sharpen our
With the red
blades.
gold camps, they're going to give us a ton of gold. So we basically just work towards that and get as much gold as we can.
My blade is thirsty. Ravenswatch needs to recruit more champions.
Okay, with that we have about 680 gold. We're going to try and clear out this last camp, and then we'll see what we can do with our money afterwards. Okay, so about 890 gold. We can go to the well and buy more items.
I'd rather travel in a drake's jowl.
So we're going to reroll for more money. And here we're actually checking how much gold we would have spent. Currently, Golden Egg gives us 21 damage, so we're going to buy another one. So that's going to take our damage to 180 and our armor to 245. Now here we actually have 4 rerolls left, and with that we don't have much else to do, so we basically just decide, okay, here we're going to use some
Reeks of a powerful magic.
more rerolls to get a little bit of gold. So with that we have about 762 gold.
We've still battles to fight.
And that's going to give us, that item left in the Ravenbeak gives us special
is a
cooldown,
perfect match
but
for
doesn't
you.
really do much for us. So instead we're going to upgrade our talents instead. And each time we upgrade to legendary, it's going to give us 10 damage. So I decided that the damage
I bid
on
you farewell,
retaliation is
O
probably going to be
warrior.
better, but I'll get
I
it
hope to be
after
regaled with
I
tales of
clear some
glory the
more
next
things on
time
the
we
map.
meet.
Now with these cursed bosses, cursed keys, generally the cursed keys are around the event, so the best place to look for a key, it could be in random places, but it's going to be in random places around the event. So it's not going to be on like the opposite side of the map, it's always going to be somewhere around the area, generally in an area with a lot of space. If you kind of look on the mini-map, you can check like that thing is it kind of in the corner. Killing these enemies, I do see the key is actually on the left there, so I will pick it up. And also might as well pick up the health as well. So with that we have 200 extra damage that we're doing, plus more than 200 armor that we have as well.
Wretches.
So this curse key is only going to give cursed objects. So we basically just need to decide which cursed object has the least downside for us. We could pick up Bloody Mary's Mirror, but instead I actually opted to take either Oni Mask or Black Lotus. Black Lotus gives us lifesteal, which is something that when you kill bosses, there's not going to be much healing orbs of anyway. And because this is such a defensive build, taking Black Lotus is such a strong perk for us because we have the armor from damage reduction, and we have also quite a lot of damage that we're getting from that armor, which allows us to top our high health again. So this is a very tanky survival based build, and here we're just going to try and get a little bit more gold before we finish out the map so that we can buy our last few items.
Greetings.
And here I also decide that the attack damage from the defense is probably going to scale better as well, so that's why I picked that one up. So 237 damage, armor sorry, gives us 70% damage reduction. If we get to 300, it's actually going to give us 75% damage reduction. So getting that extra 60, 70 armor will only give us like a 5% damage reduction. So that's why I was saying it only scales logarithmically, which means that it scales much harder when you're on lower amounts of armor, whereas if you top it up at the very top, it's only going to give you very small amounts of damage reduction. Now with this particular boss, you'll have to stagger them. Once they're staggered, you can see both of them are staggered. And the stagger bar is the white little bar underneath the character. Also in terms of damage reduction as well, the bosses have 2 shields on their health bar. The 2 shields indicates that they're going to take 75% less damage from your attacks until you stagger them where they have no damage. So that one here, that one at the top I can see is now like shiny golden, and that means I've completed his stagger stage. So that was why I wasn't attacking him, I was attacking the other character. And also after they get out of their stuns phase, they kind of split health between each other, which is why I'm dividing the damage between the 2 characters accordingly. Now as you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage, but I'm able to heal back a lot of the damage, partly from a combination of the Rampart combo, and also partly from our Black Lotus putting in a lot of life for us as well. And now finally we're on Act 4 essentially. This is the epilogue with the final boss. Now at this point we only have a small amount of gold, so the only thing we can really buy is Strength. Strength is a 25% damage multiplier on our character and lasts for 6 minutes. So this should last for the entire duration of the fight.
Come closer, my pretty. Let me get a better look at you. Watch your head! And you think me evil? You squash my precious child! enter if you dare, hero of the watch. It's been a long time since I had a guest for dinner. I wonder what you'll taste like in my stew. Don't forget to take your medicine. I am the last witch you will ever see. Oh, you shall pay for that. You owe me a now you have made me angry. Leave my victims alone. You pitiful, attacking the dead. You owe me a skull. I think it's time for a more deadly coup. My potions have a taste you'll never forget. Begone, pest! I shall crush you! You are more powerful than suspected. It's sorely time to end your foolish fable once and for all. I created you and I can just as easily destroy you. Just watch. I'll wipe you from the face of gravity! You can run, but you cannot hide! See a pocket full of death! The eye sees all! There's no hiding from my mouth! I'm a tempest! You can run, but you cannot hide! The nightmare is lifted at last, and what do I see? A hero worthy of legend. The future of reverie is yours to write. Go, champion. The tale of reverie has yet to be told.
So yeah, that was my run with Beowulf. We built like a super tanky, super sustainable Beowulf, where we had a lot of damage from Excalibur and also the green hide dragon hide combo. The green armor dragon hide combo. We lost a little bit of armor using fast walker boots, but we had so much armor anyway, so it didn't even matter. And also just note that the 257 armor that's noted on there is only at our base, because we do get a lot more armor once we get lower in health. So getting that extra stack of armor from Dragonhide is going to make us even more tanky the lower health we get. We also had Black Lotus, which was really sustainable, because we did have the lifesteal as well. And we also saw that our attack was dealing 42% of our damage, as well as 24% from our defense as well. So yeah, that was my run. If you enjoyed that run, please drop me a like down below and subscribe to the channel. As always, have an awesome day. Bye for now.
Cradled pups